So I was 17 when I started. It was the day after I graduated from high school. And I remember being in the newsroom only one time prior to that. And it was unlike any newsroom I had ever seen or any office I had ever seen. It was Army surplus desks and all the men, and it was mostly men. In fact, I think it was all men in the newsroom, wore white shirts and ties. You know, I was a 17-year-old kid, and I'm sitting in this newsroom, and there were hardly any reporters in the office during the day, but they would come back in the afternoon. And I remember this one reporter, he came in, he opened his desk drawer, and he took out a brown paper sack. He would go over to the Coke machine, and he would get a 7-Up or whatever. He'd put something in that Coke. He'd sit back, take a few swigs, and then he'd start to write his story. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he'd be playing the harmonica in the back of the newsroom. Yeah, those were just shocking to me that, you know, that kind of thing went on. We had very funny things happen in our newsroom from time to time. There's something about the newspaper environment, once you're in it, it's pretty difficult to get it out of your system. So I tried to figure out some way that what my interests were at the time, that was art, graphic design and that kind of thing, translating that to journalism. And over the years I did that. How I got into photography was, I had learned while I was in the service, I had learned how to process film and all those kind of things. And my observation was that on Mondays, the newspaper had very few pictures to run. And the reason for that was that most of the photographers, if not all but one, were off on the weekends. So I thought maybe I should start shooting pictures on Sundays and just leaving them for the photo editor. So I did that. I would find events. The first one I remember shooting was a dog sled race in Blackhawk or Central City where the sleds were on wheels. So I went and shot this thing, and I came back, processed film, made a couple prints, left it, and those pictures were getting published. So eventually the head photographer, he said, you know, we'd like to put you on what they call a 20/20, which was 20 hours a week at your old job, 20 hours a week at your new job. And then I shot a feature that it won an award. And when they contacted the newspaper to say that I had won this award, they didn't want to tell the people who were supplying the award that I was not a full-time photographer. So they hired me full-time. And that's how I ended up full-time in the photo department. Oh my gosh, I can't think of any career where you get to experience so many different people, so many different events. We're like the eyes of the world sometimes. We were so fortunate, and still are, to be able to go into situations, meet people. We would have never had those opportunities had we sat behind a desk. Or the people in journalism, the people that you work with, are so open-minded, and for the most part, new ideas are welcomed. And you know, we get to tell stories about people that the average person would never meet. We get to document events that the average person would never see. It's a tremendous career. I can't think of any other job that I would have rather had.